Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of TerraVentures. We're up to episode 8 I believe, and today we're starting things back off at my new crop farm. As you can see, my little minecart is still going back and forth. However, I have discovered one little error in my calculations. All of these things can all be composted except the bamboo. So I'm going to have to work out a different way of storing that. So what I'm thinking is the bone meal will be at the top, and then, or somewhere along here, and it will be brought down by another hopper line and coming straight into this one over here. So it skips the composting section and it'll always be stored. I think that would be better, because the other idea I had was it also comes through here to the main line, comes down through here, has its own storage system on this side, and then there's the composter lines. But once again, I think just having the hopper line come through here will be the quickest. Anyway, if we come up to the top of here, we can work out what we're doing here. Now, the layer just below me, the one with the yellow glass that you saw, is for the wheat. Now up here I'm planning to use beetroot. I do sort of want to collect the beetroot seeds and turn them into composting material as well. I do know that I do know that the villagers can throw beetroot into the middle, into the center villager, but then again the seeds are useful. So I was trying to do a bit of minecart hopper lines, but unfortunately this thing in the middle actually throws off the entire thing. So if we have the line through here like this, leaving the outside bare like we have on the bottom layer here, it actually doesn't quite fit. I'll miss like one or two lines, like I'll miss a line over here or something. But I'm going to try and work out if there's a way to make this work and continue to build it up, and then come back and show you what I've done. Okay, after a bit of experimentation I've come up with this. So we've still got the single dirt line coming across the same place where the extra bits, sorry, if we come down just a level, oh wait, no, that's not it. That was a bit silly. Anyway, if we come up the ladder again, if we come up to this yellow level, the bits where the dirt is on this level are the same bits where these slabs are over here. So I believe that is good. Now I need to get myself some dirt and start filling this thing up again, and that shouldn't take too long. So yes, so what I'm going to do now is put in the dirt, put in the composters, put in the water, put in the slabs, basically make that level ready to go, and mine it all up, or hoe it all up, ready to go. One thing I forgot to do as well is put in redstone blocks, and I think there's actually a slight difference in this design, in this railway layout, to the one that's put directly below it. So when I'm finished here I'll show you the difference, but I think the difference is that this one uses a lot more redstone blocks. I think it uses slightly more of these normal rail as well, which isn't really that much of a pain, since you need 6 iron to make 16 of the normal rail, but 6 gold equals 6 powered rail, so it's a little bit more efficient, I guess, with the powered rail. Anyway, so we've just got this little bit over here to do, but I'm pretty sure it's less efficient on the redstone blocks. So if we count these all up in a second, so we have, let me see, we have 6 over here, 5 over here, so that's 11, plus another 5 over here is 16, plus 5 over here. Is that right? Oh wait a minute, I have a slight error. As you can see, actually we've got a slight error here. We've got a dirt line going all the way around on 3 sides, but not on the 4th. So we do in fact have a slight error in our calculations. There should be 2 sides of 6 and 2 sides of 5, which would actually make 22 redstone blocks. If we look here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go out a bit. I believe it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11 on that far side, and over here would make another 5 to make it 16. So the top layer definitely uses more, but on the other hand, it fits in with the design we're using up here. So anyway, it looks like it's back to the drawing board as to figuring out a good a good layout for this railway line. So once again, I'm going to have to go back, figure it out, and come back when I've got a good design. Okay, after quite a little bit of experimentation, I've managed to come up with this. It's basically the same thing, although I've now got just the dirt line over here and over here. You may note that I've got a slight bit of over here, just the 3 blocks where my cursor is now, where I don't have railway lines, and I've tried a bit, and I probably could figure out actually how to do it, but I think for 3 blocks over there, it's not really worth it. Losing 3 blocks, 3 bits of beetroot or seeds or whatever, isn't going to be as much a big of a loss as 14, which would be along the long edge. Anyway, so now obviously the next bit I've got to do is fill in this dirt, fill in this composter, and the water and all that. So as I finish off this job, it's going to be just a little bit of time, obviously, as I get this dirt in, get those functional bits in for this layer of the crop farm. Well, it's been a little while since the last clip, and as you can see, I've now installed the roof. I've actually started changing all the lights into sea lamps instead of glow, so it looks just a little bit better. So you can see that this level is complete. It does look slightly different to the one I did in the tutorial, where even though the composter is at the 4th diagonal from the corner, and 1 from here, this side it's still 3 from the corner, but it's a slight bit off. So I think it's because this wall here is actually slightly longer than it needs to be. So if we had brought the left-hand wall, if we had brought in this wall 1 block to the left, this block would be here, and it would be in its correct spot. So that's actually the problem with this. It's actually just slightly too big, but I've already built 2 layers, so I'm not going to go back and fix it now. So it'll just have to focus, and it'll just have to work, and I think it really, and looking at it, I probably should have checked if it's chunk aligned. It probably is, but but it's all good now. So the remaining there's 2 more layers to build of this, for the carrots and for the potatoes, and those will be rather simple. It'll follow this design, except it won't need the rails underneath, so they'll be pretty easy to build. So I'm going to get on them. And you also may note that I've also started putting in coloured glass, grey for any minecart rail bits, red for beetroot, and yellow for wheat. So I need to decide what the other 2 are going to be, especially given that I'm going to have pumpkin and melons and sugarcane and bamboo as well. So what I'm thinking at the moment is carrots can be orange, I guess, and potatoes, I guess, brown. And then I'm going to have to figure out maybe orange again for this, or lime green, and a darker green for these 2. Because I'm thinking of putting these 2 on the same layer, so the tower doesn't become excessively tall. But again, something to be worked out as we go. So I'm going to get started on those 2 remaining layers of the crop farms, and come back when it's all done. Well, as you can see, I've now finished the next 2 layers, the carrots and the potatoes, orange and brown respectively, and if I would just pop up into here in a second, you'll find that it's a slightly different design to the ones that are slightly below it. So for example, the potatoes has actually got this little half slab in the middle, and that's where the village is going to go. So I believe now I can go 2 ways from here. I can start or 3 ways actually, and not crashing onto the ground would be a good one. One of them is to start building up the melon and pumpkin ones, which I still need to figure out how I'm going to do that. Pistons, like in Season 1, smashing from the top. I don't need a full, whatever this is, I think it's a 16 by 16 square, so I don't need a full one of those, because that would be, well, overproductive, really productive. So what I'm thinking at the moment is I'm going to split this in maybe quarters. 1 will be potato, 1 will be pumpkin, 1 will be melon, 1 will be sugarcane, and the final one will be beetroot. With the beetroot, not beetroot, it's going to be bamboo. That's the one I'm thinking of. So bamboo will need to have its own collection zone and its own chute down here into the storage system. So that's probably best on this side where the storage system is, I think. I think it's this side, so I'm going to have to work that out. But I'm also going to start working on building the building both around the concrete part of the building, that is, around this part of the building, and possibly on this one as well. So when I come back, I'll bring you an update when I come back. Well, I've been designing a little bit for the past half an hour to an hour or so, and I've come up with two different designs. One is in a slightly different world, so I'll get to that in a minute. But the first design actually has two slightly different things. I know it's a few different kind of things. The first one has this one, and I really should have actually moved this blue pole back a bit, so there should be a white pole here and a white pole on this side, leaving 5 or 4 blocks of glass in here. So that's this side. There's the other design on this side. We've got the 2 on this side and the 1 there and this side, and I'm not as fond of this side, to be honest. I think it really should be, this one should be pushed across one to the left. There should be 5 blocks of window there, which would leave 5 in the middle there. So if you can imagine something between these two going all the way up, that's the kind of design I'm thinking of for this, or at least for this one, and that would wrap away all the way around the middle, and you'd have something like this in the middle. Now, just going to hop into the other world to show you that design. And here we are in the other world, the other design. So we have this one, actually this pole wouldn't be here, the glass would just wrap around onto this side. Just ignore that sign, but that was a bit of an experimentation. So if we remove this and have the glass go all the way around, the light blue glass go all the way around the corner. Why can't I build? Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a ladder there. So if we have the glass just go all the way around, something like that. I'll just do a couple of layers to show you, and like that, and like so. If it will just go all the way around. Now, the thing with this design is that it's not quite symmetrical, which I'm not sure I like as much. But anyway, we have this nice blue thing here. We need to back it up with something. And of course you can still see all the actual building in the middle, which can't really be helped, I suppose. This outside thing is just supposed to decorate it, to make it look somewhat neat. Now, to be honest, I'm not really fond of either design. I think this one that I'm currently looking at has its benefits, but I think it needs a little bit more colour, maybe a little bit more green or something somewhere. If we can get some green, let's go with green concrete, because that is a little bit easy to make. Let's see what happens if we put a green stripe across the top here. And in fact, I actually got an idea. Let's do that. Skip one and go up like that. And what do we think about that? Oh yes, that actually we could have it come down like this, so it snakes up in a pattern. I think that looks a lot better, to be honest. Although that said, we would now actually do need the white concrete on this side, I think. And of course it's starting to rain. No, it's not. Yes, I think that looks a little bit better. Just the green is probably not quite right. What if I used leaves instead? I know it's a bit of an odd choice, but I do want a bit of extra colour in here, not the dark green of the concrete, but another green. That's not quite what I want. I want oak leaves. Let's try oak leaves, because they should be pretty easy to get. And come down. You know what would be really good if I had it coming like this on the other side, but that can't be helped. And then if we actually remove this and have it actually skip an entire segment and come up to this side, because this building is actually going to go another 2 or 3 layers higher. And let's just remove this. I know this clip's actually going to be quite long, but bear with me. I think I'm going to go with this design that's currently on the screen. If we go with this, yeah, that's not quite right, but yes. So I think this design with the green, with the leaves, actually works quite well, and the grey concrete and the light blue glass and the white concrete. I think that will work quite well. I've still yet to work out the entrance, and of course you can see I've put in the grass at the front. So I think I'm going to go with this design. So I'm going to have to smelt a lot of glass, and I have gone sand gathering, so I've got a lot of that. I'm going to make a lot of concrete and protect this redstone, because this is the most important part of the building. Or at least it is one of the most important parts of the building. So anyway, back into the realm to build this thing. Well, after a little bit of building in the realm, you can see that I've got a little bit of a pattern here. So the green starts on here, it's going to come round, snake up to this side, come round to here, and go up to that side, to here. So I think that's going to look quite nice. Now, one thing I didn't mention is that the back side of this building, so everything on this side, I haven't yet worked out what I'm going to do. So that's something that I'm going to have to figure out in the future. However, there is one thing that I need to do, and I had temporarily forgotten it, but here it is. You can see that the ladder is actually blocking where the white concrete is going to go, so I'm going to have to start putting in the villagers now. So effectively all these bottom systems are going to have to start working, as well as oh no, good, I didn't fall down. So all these systems are going to have to start working, or I'm going to have to figure out a way to get them in without destroying what I've got on the outside. In addition to that, I'm also going to have to figure out how to do all these buildings up here. But then again, I suppose I can finish off the outside of the building, then fly and come up here and do what I need to do. And hopefully I don't have to go up and down so often. But once again, I think what I'm going to do now is actually start working on getting these things functional, and which means I probably should start getting the composting section of this bit done. So I'm going to start working on the composting section, and then start working on the rest of the villagers, and then finish off the outside of this building. It looks like getting the villagers in might be a little bit easier than I thought. I usually try and do the dirt staircase and then get the water up, but this ladder is actually proving very useful now. So I've now got a bubble elevator perfectly capped off right at this one. You can see I've already started throwing in the wheat seeds, and now I need to get the villager that I've got from the original wheat farm over to here, and that he should start doing his job very nicely. Well, that farmer villager is now busily working up there. I did record a clip of it, but it didn't quite record. Anyway, so he's busily working, and now I need to get another 5 more villagers. 1 for the beetroot, and 2 each for the carrots, and another 2 for the potatoes. Now, I made an error with this setup earlier, and what I said was that the bamboo wouldn't go into the composter. What actually happened was that the composter was up in this block, so the hoppers were feeding into the side of the composter, so in actuality no crop would have gone in, and so technically all of them would have been found to be non-compostable. So it turns out that the bamboo can indeed be composted, which makes sense, to be honest. But anyway, so you can see that the system is fully working. I've got quite a bit of bone meal in there, and so that is quite a good start from that. Hopefully, as this farmer villager continues to work, and the farmer villager continues to drop off his seeds and all that this system will continue to pump out the seeds. Now, I'm going to go off to that village with my boat somewhere. I had a boat somewhere around here, and go off and get those other villagers. Well, if we look at the outside of this building, it's just about complete. I've still got to get to do the top story, the pumpkin and melon and the pumpkin and melon and bamboo and sugarcane. I always get the bamboo and beetroot mixed up, but I have discovered a problem with this design of the farm, and it is that occasionally the farmer villagers tend to either turn to shepherds, and I think it's because of the looms that are over here in this farm. These two are just a bit too close, and it's really going to be too much of a pain to deconstruct this and move it further away. And the same with this. I really should have checked that sooner and thought about it sooner. So if you are watching this and have watched my tutorial on this, make sure that the iron farm is or if you do build an iron farm, it's at least, say, 40 or 60 blocks away from from a crop farm. But anyway, so I'm going to experiment with a few things, perhaps make sure the villagers don't have a line of sight to the crop farms, to these ones, because the beetroot one seems to be working fine. I really don't know why that one would be working fine and the others do not. But my theory is that that one has the least line of sight to the ones it's trying to change to. So I'm going to try and figure that out in the meantime. But there's one more thing I'd like to do before I finish this episode, and it is figure out how I'm going to do the composting system. Now, what I'm thinking of is having this hopper line come along through here and then drop into several different composters. So if there's a lot of things coming through at the moment, which there is for some reason, then I can start putting it through the composter. I don't know why that would be coming through like that. It shouldn't be, because this system it should just send it through that way. I guess that means the composter would always be working. I really don't know which one it is, but if you do know, let me know. And if you're actually wondering what this little thing is, it's actually to protect the bread. And there we go. We can see now that I've put in all the composting system. It's just a simple composter over here, which is going to lead into all of these things, and hopefully there's going to be things coming through, like the carrots are there. You can see the slowly coming through, the beetroot are coming through. I've currently set it so the beetroot goes through, so everything goes through into the composter. And if we just check over here, the composter had 64 and 5 earlier, and you can see now it's got 64 and 33, so this thing is going to be really, really productive. Anyway, I believe that's all I've got time for today. So if you have liked this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to keep watching out for the next one. And before I forget, in the description you'll find the links to both the TerraVentures Instagram account, in which you can see other people who make videos on the same realm, and you can also find a link to my Discord. So if you want to find out any updates, say if I make an update announcement saying I might be a little bit late on a certain week's episode, it'll be in the Discord. So don't forget to go check that out as well. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.